Okay, so today's lesson is kind of about the handshake problem. So we actually went outside, and there was 21 students, 21, and we shook everybody's hand. So we figured that, okay, 21 students, each of us shook 20 different hands, because you don't shake your own hand. But then we asked, well, is a handshake between two people counted once or twice? We realized, well, we're going to have to divide that in half, because half the people, then you can't count one handshake for two people, okay? So then we came back into the class. We talked about the model. If you have 2 employees, you get 1 handshake. 3 employees, you get 3 handshake. 4 employees, you get 6 handshake. And we said, okay, well, what's really going on? So we went and looked and made a formula, okay? Because we know that if 21 people had 20 handshakes, but we have to divide that by 2 to get how many people we shook hands with, and we came up with about 210 handshakes. So a formula would be handy. So we said, okay, well, let's see. That's the same as n number of people and 1 less handshake because you don't shake your own hand. And we divide by 2 because then, well, if you divide by 2, you can't count 1 handshake between 2 people twice. So then we were able to fill in the chart. Okay, so for 5 people, we got 10. 6 people, we got 15. 7 people got 20. Okay, so then we said, okay, well, let's write a function. So here's a function, but I wrote as f of x. And that's the same thing as x times x minus 1 divided by 2 instead of n's. All right, so that'll help us with many things. Okay, so then I turned the page, and we graphed it. So we did, first of all, we put it on Desmos. We saw that it was a graph like this on Desmos. We realized the vertex is 1/2 negative 0.125. That's the vertex. Well, that doesn't make any sense because you can't have half a person, and you can't have negative handshakes. So we thought, okay, what's the truly going on? We realized you could have 1 handshake, you could have 2, 3, 4, and so it's just this part of the graph. That's the negative part of the graph. That doesn't make any sense, okay? This graph does open up. The reason it opens up is because we have a positive x squared. Now the y-intercept turns out to be negative 1/2. Okay, and then that's impossible. Actually, y-intercept was 0. Why did I put negative 1/2? 0. And that's impossible because if nobody's there, there's no handshakes, okay? Then we talked about all the possible domain. Well, technically, the graph says all real numbers, but that's not true because we know that you have to have at least 2 people to shake hands. And if you do have 2 people, you have at least 1 handshake, okay? And that was pretty much the lesson. And then we did a worksheet, lesson 1, 2, and that is going to be due tomorrow along with the math. Yeah, okay, so that's all I got.